Hello and welcome to the webinar for groups and families. As I see now, we are awaiting some more guests from around the world, but for now, greetings to all guests from around the world. Maybe I'm using the time to give some introduction to the current attendees. So if you have questions, we will answer all questions after the webinar. Please use the chat here and write to moderators. As assistant, Jörg Topel, one of the Escrow specialists from the support team, is assisting me. Thank you, Jörg. And need to say the moderators chat using and questions answered at the end. Okay, so as I can see, we have nearly all attendees are online. So I want to give you an introduction to DENIC Services. Who is DENIC Services? DENIC Services is a 100% subsidiary of DENIC AG, the German registry for .de domains, currently handling around 17,500,000 domains under management. DENIC Services is a domain industry company. Everything is related to the domain industries. We are serving registrars as well as registries. Currently, more than 150 clients are using data escrow services from DENIC Services. DENIC Services is also providing any-cost services. Why did I choose DENIC Services? There are some points I'd like to mention here. DENIC Services is providing a control center. Maybe you read a customer service portal within some emails. This is available 24/7 for you. You can always log in. We are providing a REST API. At the end of the webinar, I will explain some more about the REST API. With DENIC Services, you have the choice where your deposits should be stored. Within the European Union, there we have two own data centers, or if you like to use the deposit storage in the United States, currently Virginia. DENIC Services is the only data escrow agent offering the choice of the place of jurisdiction and arbitration. So shortly before generating the contract, you have the choice at Frankfurt in Germany or Geneva in Switzerland. Of course, DENIC Services is certified by ISO 27001 and ISO 22301 Business Continuity Management. And last but not least, we are focused on support. So there is a specialized support team managing all your inquiries, handling connection between your team and our developers, answering all questions in time, and we will not miss any inquiries. Okay, so let me start with the presentation. This webinar is specialized to groups. Groups means one primary contact is responsible for more than one IANA ID, more than one registrar. ICANN differs these families and or groups in two parts. Part one is a so-called eligible group or family. Eligible groups may have one registrar data escrow agreement for all IANA ID belonging to a group of a family. DENIC services may generate a group RDAA for all IANA ID belonging to the group. Hopefully my pictures declare. The second part is a non-eligible group or family. These are groups. ICANN needs to have one registrar data escrow agreement for each IANA ID. For each IANA ID, there need to be signed a separate RDAA. How is DENIC services handling these groups? Regarding eligible groups, all eligible groups will receive a contact from an account manager from DENIC services, and we're talking about the proceedings and how to proceed in a personal talk. Non-eligible groups, the primary group contact will receive an email asking to submit email, name, email address, name, and a mobile phone number for two-factor authentication of the nominated administrator of the control center. All group IANA ID will be managed with one administrator account. You will receive furthermore information how to handle. So one administrator can manage and handle everything within the control center. Let me proceed and show you how we are doing with the onboarding. Onboarding is quite easy. It's just 5 simple steps, and let us walk through these simple steps. This is an invitation, welcome, and onboarding, a contractual onboarding, a DocuSign, and last but not least, technical onboarding. The primary contact listed at ICANN for an IANA ID will receive an invite email from DENIC services where he or she can set the nominated administrator of the control center who will do the onboarding for all the IANA IDs mentioned. We just need the name, the first name, the last name, the email address, and the mobile phone number of the nominated administrator. The mobile phone number is needed to we have a security feature enabled, and we need the mobile phone number for two-factor authentication. So step 1 already done. So now the primary contact can be back. The administrator will proceed. After the nominated administrator of the control center was given, he will automatically receive a welcome email to set his initial password. So after clicking a link, he will come to the site and insert the PIN or short code received by text message. Received by text message. Insert the PIN and can then set his own password. After the password is set successful, there is an automatic redirect to the login page where the email address of the administrator is used as the username And step 2, also done. Let's proceed with the login. This is the login page of the control center. The control center is now in the mode of onboarding, and we are gathering information from the administrator. Some of the fields are pre-filled because we have received some data from ICANN. But there is need to fill the form in total. Please give us some more information and click on proceed. Here, some more information about email address, phone numbers are urgent. And in the lower section you see we are in need for the name, the email address, and the position of the person who must sign the registrar data escrow agreement, the RDAA. So the administrator of the control center will not receive the email for a contract signing using DocuSign. This goes directly to the person listed here. In this section, we need some information about where should we deliver informational emails, notifications, and so on. If you're using backend operator, please insert email address here. Now we're nearly done. And as mentioned earlier, now please choose the place of jurisdiction and arbitration. If you click on done here, step 3 is already done. The next step, like mentioned, is the primary contact will receive an invite email for DocuSign. The DocuSign process is split. After we have gathered the information from the previous page, the CEO of DENIC services will sign the DocuSign contract, the RDAA. After the CEO has signed, the registrar will receive an invitation to sign using DocuSign. And after this signature is done, the next process step is ICANN will sign the RDAA and ICANN will sign the effective date. So if you, as a signatory, see there is no effective date set, don't hesitate. ICANN will do this within the last step. DocuSign usage, most of you may use. Just follow the yellow buttons. You can also download a version. Click on the checkbox and follow the yellow buttons. This is a sample contract we have generated. You can see in the middle of the contract where signatures is needed, and you can proceed with the yellow buttons. And after the final signature is done, just click on Finish. Step 4 of the onboarding is done. After we have received the signed REA, the control center administrator will receive an invitation to proceed with technical onboarding. After signing into the control center, some steps need to go. First of all, of course, we need a valid PGP key. Specifications can be downloaded from the Welcome RDE website, and the support team will also assist you if there are any questions regarding the PGP key. SSH key is used for SFTP connection to deliver your deposit. We highly recommend using an SSH key. This field must fill to proceed. If you later on decide to not use SSH key, you can delete this SSH key within the control center. The control center administrator can do many things I will talk about later. This is the list. Same list is later shown within the control center. Deposit upload and SFTP credentials. Here, the control center administrator will choose which location to use for the storage of the deposit, and depending on the chosen location, the full qualified domain name will be displayed, the username is displayed, and you can download the documentation. Please acknowledge that you have stored all the data and click on Done. Technical onboarding done. You're done with onboarding. Next step is we are awaiting your first deposit, and we have to do the audit on the first deposit. The control center can now be used. We'll show you two images about the control center. The first one is the dashboard. After the administrator is logging into the control center, he will see this dashboard and has many possibilities to click, to view, and to evaluate. Urgent point is if you're managing more than one registrar, more than one IANA ID, here you have the choice to change between the single registrars, to change between IANA ID, because the control center is depending always for one IANA ID, for one registrar, and will display all the information about this one. For example, clicking on deposits, you will receive a list of maximum 20 last deposits, where you can see, is it a full deposit, incremental deposit, when was it delivered, what is the status about the deposit, was it success or was failed, and you have the possibility to download a PDF report. Using the REST API. As mentioned earlier, we are also providing a REST API for the daily business. The REST API gives some features, grants access to various reportings, can set and change PGP keys, set and change SSH keys, having information about ICANN reportings, and many more. This is the documentation page we have available now. This is the documentation for the REST API for registries. The REST API for registrars will be available starting November, I guess. You can find all the information, and I'm pretty sure you developers will know how to use this documentation. So, this is all done, and now let's ask Jörg whether we have some questions.
Yeah, just a second, let me check. So at the moment there are no questions. So we don't have questions at the moment.
No questions. No questions means you all are happy, hopefully. But if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact the Escrow specialist, the DENIC services support team. No problem at all. escrow@denic-services.de, and it will help you as soon as possible. No more, nothing, no questions. Thanks for attending.
No questions at the moment, so
Thank
I
you
think
very
we are
much.
finished.
We are finished. This webinar is recorded. We will show this webinar, also the recording of the webinar, on the webpage. So if you miss some information you want to show to some colleagues, you will find the link to the webinar video recording within the next days. Thank you very much for attending.